All right, this is like what I like to call spicy neutrals. Neutrals that have something to offer. Neutrals that give a little kick. Neutrals that are not really dull. They, like I said, they got some spice to them. So let's go ahead and jump in with the video. Hey guys, this is Ashley. Welcome on back to my channel. So today I am talking about 10 plus, I got a couple, like honorable mentions of neutral palettes that have something to offer. So lately I feel like there have been quite a few neutral palettes that have been coming out and I've been into them. And usually I like color, but these neutral palettes really had something to offer. Hence, one of the ones on my eyes, which you will see a video on soon, but like spicy neutrals. So if you have never been here before, welcome. And if you're new to this, So if you are new to this channel, welcome. And if you're oldie but goodie, welcome on back. My name is Ashley. I have a doctorate in pharmacy and I love makeup. So that's how you get Dr. Ash and her makeup, but please just call me Ash or Ashley. And like I said, eyeshadow is my jam. It's one of my most favorite things to talk about here on my channel. So let's go ahead and jump in with these neutral palettes. So I have some old ones. I have some new ones that just like hit the market, make you think about them in a different way so you can get to play around with your palettes. And I got some, I feel like I have a good little mix here, So the first one I'm going to take, I'm taking these in no particular order. The first one I'm going to take is a new palette. And it has pops of color, but overall the palette is neutral. It's based in neutrality, okay? And it has those nice little pops, those subtle little pops. You're like, okay, there is something here. And the first palette up, I have Tina the Fancy Face, and this is the Earthwood palette with Odin's Eye Cosmetics. This is actually like brand new, came out in February, part 2 of the legendary Diversa collection. So it was 3 creators, and she got to create a second palette. So although, yes, very colorful on the front, I'm loving for the imagery. And when you open the palette, like I said, it's called Earthwood. Overall, you might not think it is, but it's very neutral, okay? Why? We have a brown here, brown. We have this nice little tan type of bronze situation. We also have, an olive green that is can be very neutral. And we also have a deeper plum shade and a darker brown, medium tone brown. So very neutral overall, but then you have these little pops of color like these smoke purples. And although that this is lime green, I don't know if we were supposed to be swatching here. It's very lime green in my eyes. Or my finger right now. It's not on my eyes. It's on my finger. This is not the palette I have on my eyes. But when you pair it with the bronzes, you can get some really nice neutral looks along with the hunter green. So like I said, it's neutral at its core, but it has kind of like a lot to offer. And I feel like it's a different take on a neutral palette. So I've really been enjoying it. This palette just showed up in the mail today and I was like kind of just dealing with the palettes I've had recently. I'm like, okay. And this palette also was on my radar. I missed like 2 pre-orders. I think this is like the 3rd pre-order of this palette. And it is the Unearthly Sorcerous Smoke palette. So very, look at it. That is neutral, okay? We have our nice little, of course, we got our olive tones. We have our browns. We have, kind of like a muted peach, leaning kind of, doesn't really lean to plum. We have our basic pinks, our champagnes. We got a black. We have a little pop of blue. And even the plums, like they're going to lean more neutral. I think it is a really, really gorgeous palette. I was like, I have to get this in my possession. It's so pretty. Look at this caramel tone shade. So this palette is definitely, I feel like, a blinged out neutral palette, giving you a little something to offer, a little pizzazz with these greens and the pops of blue. And of course, you got the black where you can kind of deepen it up and smoke it on out. All right, next up, baby. The OG, okay? The OG 6-pan. This is Mothership Sublime Bronze Ambition. And this kind of mirrors the Mothership 2 palette. Same artwork, 6-pan palette. nice, beautiful gold, bronze, and coppery shades with a brown. But these, first of all, the shimmers are to die for, okay? First of all, we're talking about Mama Pat. So first of all, you know, this nice mid-tone brown, it's going to do what it needs to do. It's going to provide structure. It's going to set your crease up. You go in with this deeper shimmer shade that you can use as a matte also to go ahead and deepen your look. And then you have beautiful golds and like bronzes and taupes. These lean a little bit warmer, but very interesting shades. Still creamy after all this time. Nice pops of mid-tone bronze, gold shade. Very beautiful. Something that you can wear every day. Definitely neutral, but it's like, hey, it gives me something. It gives like that oomph. The oomph is there because the shadow quality is so good as well. And like I said, depending on your complexion, this could just pop. So especially if you're around my complexion, it's going to pop. It's going to show up nice, but it's still going to be neutral at the same time. Next up now, this is the OG Enduring Love palette by Sydney Grace Cosmetics. And I would say OG because it has the tin case versus the cardboard case. But this is the deep version. And of course, I mean, it's neutral, but we have a few things to kind of make it work. It's a little cool tone. It's, you know, a little warm at the same time, which cool tones, you know, they've been kind of on the market, hitting hot and heavy, which I do appreciate. And then you have like your jewel tones that just kind of mix and match and bring something else fun and innovative into the look. You got your basic browns, you got your taupes, you got your little bit of peachy tone, a little bit more rosy tone, you got your silvers. Overall, it's just a solid palette. It's something you can put on every day. You can take it from day to night. And like I said, because you have these jewel tones, you get that extra little pop of something. So it's neutral, but it adds a little spice. It's not like a one-trick pony. And I don't feel like any of these palettes I'm showing here are one-trick pony. Now, this one, I love this so. This is nearly neutral. Nearly neutral, nearly natural. I always call it nearly neutral, but the palette's called nearly natural. Like, I literally always call it nearly neutral. It's nearly natural. And this is by Glaminatrix Cosmetics. And look at it. First of all, it has all the beautiful rose gold tones. So if you like this particular type of neutral, where you have more plums and more rose gold shadows, and you have bronzes and coppers, and then you have a little bit of olive, you have some shades to kind of smoke it out to go a little bit deeper. This is a beautiful palette. I also feel like this is the more up-to-date, more brown girl friendly version of the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette. It's definitely giving Naked 3 vibes with these shades in here. And especially if you will remember the deeper spectrum of those Naked palettes, how it kind of goes there. And then even the lighter tones, you still, like, it can show up on people who have color to their skin. So I really appreciate that. And that's what I kind of look for. Because sometimes if it's super neutral, it's going to be like, that's cute, but there's nothing, no wow factor, nothing that's going to make it pop on my complexion. And it's just interesting to look at. The shimmers have a lot of dimension. They're nice and pigmented. They apply well. They're nice and sparkly on the lids without doing too much. So if you're not like a multi-chrome queen like I am, these just give a nice shimmer, a nice gradient to the eyes. Well, not gradient, but it's not going to make your eyes look textured. It's just going to lay nice and be beautiful shadows on the eyes. Okay, this little baby is new or newer, and this is kind of what made me think of this video, because this little palette came in. She's cute and sexy with the lace on the front. This is Adept Cosmetics Flying Fiddle, and this is what made me think of it, because when she displayed this palette, I was like, dog, that right there is gorgeous. And this palette has so much to offer, from the chartreuses, from like the lemongrass green to the turquoise. You have your nice Bordeaux with the nice mauves, and you got a staple brown. You got the green. You got the kind of the blue-brown situation that pairs nice with there, so you still get something interesting. You have coppers. You got multi-chromes. You kind of got a pink flip. You got bronzes. You got a gold in here. You got like a little multi, chrome. Well, it's not a multi chrome, but it's like a has several different pigments. I can't think of what she calls it, but it overall is just a stunning palette. It's neutral at its core, but Adept Cosmetics, you already know the shimmer formula is going to be top tier. They're going to lay on your eyes. They're going to be bold. They're going to be nice and pretty and pigmented. And I have been loving this palette. I did receive this palette in PR, just if you're wondering, but majority of the Adept Cosmetics palettes I have purchased myself, except for this one and the Heather Austin palette. But gorgeous. Literally what made me think of this palette, because when I describe this palette, it's like it's neutral but gives something else to offer, and that's what I'm looking for. Now this one, she is bronze. We are talking about the Natasha Denona Bronze palette. So if I'm looking for a bronze shade and I want to bronze it out, I'm going here. But even though there's so many different shades of bronze, it still works. It's gold. You kind of have like your dark berry tones. You can smoke out the outer corner. You have your nice plums. You kind of have your red browns. You have your mustardy shades. You have so many different gold finishes. You kind of got like your copper tone, like deep red, kind of like what I have on my eyes to a certain degree here. You kind of have like your gold with the green reflex. You have your strong gold and with the bronze and the coppers. Really beautiful finishes. It's just something there to use for everything. You want a gold shadow? Like, this is where you need to go. And these are the golds that I actually kind of prefer. Like bronzy golds that have a little bit more dimension versus like a true yellow gold. These are pretty much my shade. So she had to be in the mix, the bronze palette, for sure, okay? Now this little baby, she's giving more matte options versus shimmers, but oh my God, it's so good. One of my favorite palettes by Blend Bunny Cosmetics, and this is the All Done Up palette. And it has so many different matte options, but honey, do you see this little pocket right in here? And then you got your grays and you have your olives. You kind of see a theme. You got grays, you got olives, you got bronzes, you got something to deepen it up. You have some banging shimmers. It's like the formula that wins. You got a little bit of pastel. You can pop it on the lid, the inner corner. You can do it all matte look. You have some beautiful shimmers to kind of finish off the look. Look, it is offering a lot. All right, this went by like really fast. So I have 2 more palettes left, and this is the palette that I have on my eyes. And I was like, you know what, it's going in, because yes, it is neutral, but it's so good, and it's just giving so many options. She did not come to play. She's fiery, she's bold, she has multi-chromes, and she can go either which way when it kind of talking about the neutrals. You have a little bit lighter, you have deeper, you have mauve, you have more mustardy, you have more peach situations, you got brown situations. So there is something for everybody. You have like your multi-chromes, you have your ones with your green flip, you got the ones with the gold flip, you got your fiery coppers that, I'm sorry, do you see that catching the light here? Okay, she didn't come to play, okay? This is such a gorgeous palette, and these are the type of palettes that's going to make me reach in. These are the type of palettes that I'm like, you know what, I'm excited to use a neutral palette versus something more colorful. And I appreciate that, because even though I like the color, I like to sometimes, do my coppery, mauve type of situations. And I really gorgeous. And then I have one more palette, and it was just so many palettes I could have chose, but I just kind of tried to narrow it down between 10 and 11 shades. And I said, you know what? Let's go with Mothership 10, So Mothership 10, she's a little bit cooler, but at the core, like I said, she's still pretty neutral, and she also has that blue-brown shade. So if you kind of take this little end out and just keep it here, that little 6 pan right here, it's still pretty neutral. You got your smoked out, I love this shade. It's like a grayish brown kind of black situation. You know, you have your two mauve shades. I do like both of these shades. I feel like one could be a little bit deeper than versus the other shade. You have your bronzes, you have your silvers, and then right here, of course, one of the special shades, you got your silvers and your golds, and then in here you also have like that special blue brown shade that just gives it that little extra pop. So I felt like it was a nice little cool tone addition to what I picked up, and even though it's neutral, it still offers a lot. Even though it's a little pinky from Pat McGrath, I'm not gonna lie, I love it. It offers a lot, and it makes me excited to use it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this fun little quick video on 10 to maybe 11 palettes that I thought that are like really cute, little spicy neutral situations. They got the little pop of olives, a little something. You're like, oh, okay, like it's a neutral palette, but it's bold at the same time, or you can kind of just scale it back, but you know that it's not boring. It's not Natasha Denona, I need a nude. Because I do love you, Natasha, but I need a nude. That's boring. And it might look great. I think it looks great on a lot of different complexions, but I just don't think it looks great on my complexion. I don't think it looks great on anybody probably deeper than me. And sometimes when you're in my complexion zone, you just need something that's going to show up. Not you just need something that's going to show up. You need something that's going to show up. And it also depends on your personality and your flair. And I particularly like things that have a little bit more pop, a little bit more oomph to them, a little bit more dimension to kind of top off my looks. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little fun quick video. But I was just like, really, this Flying Fiddles palette made me think about it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is just a neutral palette with something to offer. And I can let you know right now, 2024, one of the best releases. One of the best releases of 24. One of the best releases of 24 already. There's some bangers. Like, I'm like, okay. And then, you know what? This one can kind of go into the category also because it's neutral. This is Burnt Forest, but has some of the same elements especially as the Groovy Garden palette. And this is from Krypton Cosmetics. I've worn this palette once, but you get your moxie greens and your browns, and then you also have that fiery copper tone. So it's kind of like a little sister cousin of Groovy Garden to a degree. But I was like, you know what? This is kind of neutralish too, with a little bit of pop or something. So I see the trend, and I like it. Look at the packaging. So cool. All right, so let me go ahead and wrap this up. Let me know if you have any of these palettes down below. Are you enjoying like the little spicy, neutral trend that I feel like is kind of trending in this part of 2024? I don't know. There's a lot of like cute little things coming out. Adept is coming out with all color again. I'm here for it. I'm here for all the little makeup releases. So let me know down below. Give this video a big old thumbs up. Hit the notification bell so you know when I come out with another video, which will be soon. And subscribe to my channel because you know I would love to have you here in my Love Makeup family. With all of that being said, you already know what time it is. It's time for the chair dance, chair dance. Hey, 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 chair dance. Chair dance. Hey, chair dance. All right, y'all. Bye.